the theory of starting a business and then I'm going to have freedom is just that. It's an awesome idea.
Right. It's intoxicating.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing and everybody jumps to it and they want to do it and they think it's awesome. And then you get grind hustle, or culture, hustle culture. And it's, no. If you're not doing 15 hours a day like Gary Vee, then you're not working hard enough. The reality is, I look at building businesses and it wasn't always this way. It was that I figured it out that you don't have to grind the way that the culture says so.
Hello and welcome to the Infinite Financial Freedom Podcast, where we empower you with financial literacy and guide you on your journey to financial freedom. I'm Josh Mettle, and today I'm here with Joe Rare. Joe is a serial entrepreneur, outsourcing expert, and founder of Level 9 Virtual and several other virtual assistant powered businesses. From starting with a door-to-door sales team to building fully remote, scalable businesses that run without him, Joe has mastered the art of building freedom-first companies. I love that, freedom-first companies. Joe now helps overwhelmed entrepreneurs escape the day-to-day grind by teaching them how to delegate, systematize, and scale through virtual teams and proven operational frameworks. If you're tired of doing everything yourself and you feel like success requires sacrificing your time, Joe is here to show you another way. Joe, without further ado, welcome to the podcast, buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. You've got a lot of value that you can bring to our entrepreneur listeners. So let's start out. You started in this business of door-to-door sales and then scaled that business and sold it in 27 months. Tell me a little bit about that and then your journey to where you are today with Level 9.
They hook you on this door-to-door sales thing back then with this entrepreneurial dream, right? And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for people who have this ambition, who will go out and, it was the greatest sales lesson you could possibly get is really understanding that, a certain number of no's equal a yes. And if you just grind it out, hands down, you're going to make money. And, then just the sales techniques and learning to overcome objections. And it was really powerful in that sense. And it eliminated fear from any sales, situation whatsoever, because we were just so used to just getting told to, get out of our building, get out of our office. So you just get used to it, who cares? Like, just keep going, and I think that grind was really kind of what set me on a really, really strong path to just building businesses later. And, with that business, I grew it. I lived in Seattle for a quick minute while I was actually building it. Then we decided to move to Sacramento to open up an office there. And, and I was grinding away 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Didn't matter. I didn't have a life, didn't have anything. And, I got super, super lucky. Because in the moment of burnout, a guy walked into the building while I happened to be there and literally asked if I'd be willing to sell the contracts that I had for the product line that we had. So he kind of knew the business and he asked to buy the products and to get access to the contract. So we worked all of that out. I sold it. I probably should have sold it for more, but I was 22 years old, so I didn't know anything. And I think I probably got taken for a nice little ride there. But it let me move on to the next thing, which was kind of cool. So
very cool. It's always the painful lessons that teach us the most.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what are some of the first things that you learned to outsource? Because that's really where this journey has taken you, right? From the guy who's working 16 to 18 hours a day, has to do everything himself, to the guy who's created sales with outsourcing. So how did you come into that realization? And then what were the first couple of things you started to outsource successfully?
Yeah. So I, like many people, got to the outsourcing game through two books, The World is Flat and The 4-Hour Workweek. And so I had jumped from selling that door-to-door sales business to getting into real estate. The nice, '08 crash really, really stung. And I was in a really bad spot, lost every property that we had, gave, I think, 8 back to the bank, just walked away from literally everything. And so I was actually staying with my sister. I didn't have any place to live. I was at the bottom of the barrel there. And a friend gave me the 4 Hour Work Week and said, "Hey, you should read this." And so I was like, "Okay, if this is real, if this is even a fraction of what he says is real, I can do this page by page. Like I can follow instructions and build this." And so, a huge part of that is the outsourcing side of it. And so I'm like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. You get somebody for, a few bucks an hour to do some of the things that you don't want to do, can't do, don't have time to do. And so that was the start of it. Is I started an e-commerce business selling supplements. I moved down to San Diego and got a roommate and lived near the beach and sat at my kitchen table and literally went page by page building an e-commerce business from the 4 Hour Work Week. So the outsourcing piece of it, we started out with graphic design, web development, social media marketing. That was right at the time kind of Facebook ads started to come out. So I put my focus there because that would drive sales. And so my whole intention was, if it doesn't generate revenue, I don't touch it. Somebody else can do it. And that was that. And that's still to this day, anything in the business that doesn't have a cash on cash return, something that I can actually go, okay, this created some revenue. I don't get involved with it. I can guide and I can be an advisor, but I don't touch it. So I'm focused on partnerships and I'm focused on marketing and sales and things like that within the organization. But so the first thing that I got off my plate was literally every single thing that doesn't equate to revenue. And that was it.
So first takeaway here is you read a book and then you immediately implemented. You said, Instantly. This is a recipe to build an entire business. I'm going to go page by page and this is going to be my blueprint. So that's takeaway number one for entrepreneurs out there that want to be more successful. Like a lot of people listen to a lot of podcasts and read a lot of books and then they go on to the next book and they don't do anything with the content.
I wish I knew who said it, but over the past year or two, somebody has said it multiple times and I keep hearing it. And their method is, if you read a chapter or you read something in a book, a chapter even, you shut it and execute it.
Yeah.
You don't continue reading and go, I'm going to come back to it. Here's my notes. No. Go do it in the moment. And, there's a lot of really, really good authors out right now. There's a lot of people who are doing podcasts that are phenomenal, free social media content and teaching and training. There's an enormous amount of it out there that if people would stop consuming and just do what they already learned, they would be so successful. They would be unbelievably successful.
So let me ask you a question about what is your habit or system for execution? Like, how do you not get distracted from all the things going on in the day and actually create time to execute?
First things first, get social media off your devices.
Love it.
You have to. It is mind numbing how much time people waste on social media and just consuming stuff that doesn't matter. If it is something that is super important to you, you will make time for it. We all do. So if it is important, you will make time for it. But what you will also do is you will burn time on the escapism because you're afraid to execute the things that you need to get done. So the first thing I would say is get social media off your devices, because you'll end up sitting there scrolling. You don't even realize you're doing it. But 15 minutes here and there, and you do that 6 times in a day, that's a massive amount of execution time. So that's the first thing. Then I would say is like, pick a target. What are you actually trying to learn or accomplish? And then go get that information. Don't get everything, but go get the thing that you actually need, and don't pick somebody who's just an author, pick somebody who's an executor, somebody who's built something with the information that you're actually trying to get. Those are my 2 simple things. If I consume something, I'm consuming it for a reason. And then I don't distract myself with just the blast of social media every day, all day long. I check it every day. Don't get me wrong. Social media is important in the business and marketing world. So I'll go in and check it. But most of the time you check it and I just look at it and I'm like, how do people get stuck in here? Like, this stuff is awful. I don't want my children to ever have it. I pray to God, we can hold off as long as we can, but it is terrible. People are seriously horrible to each other. And so I'm like, I don't want to, that will affect my outcome. And I don't want to have any part of that. So that's my rant.
I love it. Last thing about execution, I want to ask you, What does your day look like? Like, do you have time blocks? Do you just roll with the weather and the
No.
way the wind blows? Like, what does your day look like?
Well, we have I have two daughters, 10 and 12, and we homeschool. And so our life is a little challenging. Now we put them into a hybrid program with at a Christian school here in town. I live outside of Bozeman, Montana. And so they get 2 days a week where they go to like actual school and they work with teachers. And
Very cool.
then but then we've got, a private teacher that comes to the house and there's, all this work that we have to do. So I have to be very organized with my time. So if it doesn't exist on my calendar, it doesn't happen, period. But as you probably are, your team found out, like I don't book my own podcast. I have Martina, who is my executive assistant. She is the brain of all brains. Nothing happens that doesn't go through her. And so that is something that was probably the most powerful thing. So one other thing you want to talk about execution, I don't know why I didn't bring this up, is get out of your email inbox. One of the worst things you could do is check your own email. Like there is almost nothing in there that is absolutely life critical that somebody else can't filter first and then deliver a summary with whatever the action step is for that piece of content. And so Martina is, I mean, she is everything and it runs through her. I don't check my own email ever at all. I get Slack messages in the morning and the evening, and it's a summary of what's important and what I have to respond to. Otherwise she handles it. And so I do time block. I schedule everything down. I picked up, Alex Hermosi has a really good one where he tries to reverse his day and book from the bottom up. So all meetings go to the end of the day and then they work their way back up to the top. So if I have to have meetings, we try to do that as much as we possibly can. But yeah, I mean, you have to be organized because if there's things that need to get done, and we're running multiple companies and we've got real estate as well and all that, like I got to have time to mentally focus and be engaged. And if I'm bouncing from thing to thing, you just don't, you're not as clear. You're not as exact, and results suffer. And so I time block. I'm very organized with my calendar. And then I got to fit in all the kid stuff, because all of this that we've built, and the only reason that we build it is because I made a commitment that I would never miss a single thing ever in my children's life, ever. And so not a meeting, not a competition, not a whatever. I've been to everything, and I want to keep it that way.
Beautiful, Joe. All right. So in summary, get off the social media, get out of the email inbox. I would add, turn the television off, be more interested in your own life than you're interested in somebody else's life, and live and die by your calendar in an intentional fashion. So you're not just being blown from this problem to this problem in a constant reactive state.
I love it. Yes.
Beautiful. Great wisdom. Thanks. 82% of entrepreneurs say that the lack of access to capital is holding them back from growing their business. And worse than that, up to a third of all businesses that go out of business this year say they've done so because of a lack of access to capital. That's why we created the Entrepreneur Capital Lines of Credit. If you're an entrepreneur and you need access to capital, click into the link in the description and get your pre-approval now. Okay, let's pivot into this entrepreneurial freedom first operating model. And what does that even mean? How do you help entrepreneurs make that shift? And what is the biggest challenge that entrepreneurs have when they're trying to make that shift?
Well, I think the theory of starting a business and then I'm going to have freedom is just that. It's an awesome idea.
Right. It's intoxicating.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, and everybody jumps to it and they want to do it and they think it's awesome. And then you get grind hustle, or culture, hustle culture. And it's, no. If you're not doing 15 hours a day like Gary Vee, then you're not working hard enough. The reality is, I look at building businesses, and it wasn't always this way. It was that I figured it out that you don't have to grind the way that the culture says so. I've just figured, there's the minimum effective dose, right, that you get on some, that some people like. And then there's the stuff that just has to get executed, period, end of story. And if you don't execute it, it's not going to create income, produce revenue. Your business is going to suffer. Your life is going to suffer. So there's this balance of how little can I do to get the results that really drive, what we need to actually execute on. And so that balance is interesting. But what I figured out is that if you try to carve a freedom lifestyle out of an operational a business, it's really, really hard. So what I do is I do the reverse. I say, okay, here's the lifestyle that I want. And now I'm going to build a business that has to support that. This is the non-negotiable, and anything in that business can never break into this. And so things like this year, I decided not to go to two major conventions that I go to every single year because it was just not right for the lifestyle, my family stuff that we had going on, and all of that. I gave up two major things that we make major money from, and I gave them up because they broke into our non-negotiable. And so I build the business around the lifestyle that I want. So I don't, we're doing this on a Friday. I don't ever work on Fridays, ever. Like that's just not, because my kids, we do, homeschool hybrid, and then Fridays they have off. And so we do other things. And so, I might do a podcast here or there, and today's Halloween, so today's a total train wreck. But like, I don't do things on Fridays, so that's one non-negotiable, right? And then never weekends ever. We use oh my gosh, Jesse, what's his last name? Starts with an M. Who does the big ass calendar?
Jesse Itzler.
Isler, yeah. So we use his big ass calendar, and we do that every year. And so we book our trips, and we've got all our competitions for the kids and everything they've got going on, so that I can build the businesses around all of the lifestyle that we want. So to me, that's the freedom piece of it. It's having the lifestyle that you want. And there's elements of it. Cash element, got to have money, right? Can't do all the fun stuff if you don't have money. So your business has to make money. And maybe there's a sacrifice in the beginning where it's all execution to create sales so that you have the income. But at the end of the day, you have to build the processes. You have to build the systems. You have to have teams of people to give you the lifestyle that you want. Because like I said in the very beginning, there's executional things that have to get done no matter what. Somebody has to do them. So you build the processes, systems, and teams to execute it. So that's kind of my method.
So good. So what I'm hearing you say is start with the end in mind. That whole big ass calendar is creating your 2026 in 2025. So you've already decided what that year's going to look like. The big ass important things are on the calendar, and then everything fills in the space around it. But the other thing that I've heard you say is have a really defined why. Like it's very clear to me that this is a family first mentality, and that's the big why that's kind of driving you to build this system the way that you have.
Yep. And it really hit home when we had kids. And this didn't all exist the moment we had kids.
Right.
It was, okay, wait a minute here. Hold on. I have to leave and go to the office and be away from my baby. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That doesn't work.
I love it, man.
So now I'm like, okay, now we got, and sure enough, it's funny. The things that were away from the family, all of them failed because I think literally because I put that, and it's funny, I haven't really put it into context that way before, but I think it was self-sabotage. It was intentional energy, whatever. I wasn't supposed to be doing that because this was most important. So
it makes total sense. It didn't align with your why.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So I love that framing. Now let's go on to what I think the biggest obstacle is, and maybe you could identify a bigger one, Joe. But the biggest obstacle that I see most entrepreneurs have with delegation and creating systems and then, using virtual assistants is they are worried the ball's going to get dropped and they're going to look bad. So how do you get over that? How do you get over it mentally? And then how do you get over it tactically so that the system is better than the way you would have done it?
So the mental part of it's the hardest, obviously.
Sure.
Breaking down and having the ability to just say, we're gonna have challenges. They're like every part of growth in a business is gonna have breakdowns and challenges. That's gonna happen. But so prepare for it. So what if something happened? And if you were like, back to the 4-hour work week days, Tim Ferriss has this really great part of the book where he talks about, if you were to define the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen if you took this step, right? Outside of dying, what's the worst possible thing that, and you outsource some stuff, some things get, fail. What happens really? Most people's fear around this, the mental block, is that they think it's way bigger. And if you were to get real with yourself and say, like, would that really happen? Would my total brand tarnish? Would every company leave me? Would my wife and my kids hate me? Like, realistically, when you start to kind of chunk it down, it turns out to be like this tiny little thing that would happen. And if you can take that and then go, okay, nothing would be so bad that it's irreparable. Okay, so now let's take a step back and go, all right, now how do we build processes so that we do our best so that doesn't happen? And that becomes the next piece, is tactically having a strategy that tries to reduce any issue that could possibly come up, but then has a mechanism to repair it. Right. And so that's how I would say is start to get really, really clear on the worst possible thing that could happen. And it's never what you think it is. And then get down and go, okay, tactically, if something happened, what would we do next? How would we fix it? And go through that process and outline it. Like, just create a document that outlines the whole thing. The great thing today is, because of AI, every single thought that we're trying to have about this kind of stuff already exists. Somebody's already been through it. Somebody's already created a plan just in case. And if not, it can grab bits and pieces. So use AI, go get a baseline that is like kind of your starting point, ask it all the questions, have it give you questions to answer so that you can create clarity in your own mind. And then it'll give you kind of a plan that says, like, hey, here's how you fix broken, something screws up for a client. Here's how your best way to fix it. Based on psychology, do this. Based on revenue, do that. Like, everything exists already. So don't recreate it. It's already here for us.
Great advice. So Tim Ferriss has an incredible TED Talk on this. I can't remember the name of the TED Talk. It's something like disastrizing or worst case scenario or something like that. Just look up Tim Ferriss TED Talk. It's brilliant. He talks about his process of dealing with these worst case scenarios and how he rationalizes it and gets it all out on paper. And there's actually a worksheet out there that you can work through. And he's like, look, I'm the worst at this. And once I go through this process and get to the end, he's like, not the end of the world. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And let's go. So that was a great reference.
Yeah. It's been a guiding principle, because nothing is as bad as you think it is. And even when I feel like the worst thing has happened and it's just crumbled and broke, it's like, if I just sleep on it and then I just come back the next day and go, okay, let's deal with this, all of a sudden it's not as bad. And it's like, but yesterday it was the worst thing in the freaking world. It was horrid. And then now it's just like, yeah, I mean, we're going to fix it, And another thing, here's one more thing that I would add to it that helps. Recognize that every single thing that happens in your business and in your life is your fault. And if you can be self-accountable for everything. So if it's Level 9 Virtual, my company there, if it's RevLift, my company here, whatever it is, everything that everybody does under that brand is my fault. And when you can take that, all of a sudden, when you go to talk to a client who had something negative occur and you just take fault for it, it's you. You know what? That's on me. And I'm going to make it up to you. And here's how we're going to do that. All of a sudden, it's like, they're like, this guy's taking fault, because everybody else is going to blame. They're going to push blame, and they're going to try to blame it on the client, and they're going to try to blame it on a vendor or a service or a piece of tech or something, but they are going to try to put it everywhere else. I just go, you know what? That's on us. Let's just fix it. Like, the outcome you want is still the same. We just need to fix the thing that didn't get you there. That's all. Let's go do that.
One of the best business and leadership books ever written, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. I mean, it is a leadership masterclass. Such a great book. I'm sure that's influenced you and your mindset around this.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between outsourcing a few tasks and building like a true VA powered business that runs without you. Because I think most people, or many people, I should say, have dipped their toes in the water with this, but really hasn't seen it to its full capacity or potential.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to get some stuff off your plate. We recognize that big issue kind of at the beginning of COVID, and we rolled out a project-based service that allowed people to just kind of get some stuff off their plate. Typically, our core service offering is like a one-to-one. You need somebody in your team working in your business directly. We will manage that human being, payroll, HR, benefits, everything. And then they work within your business. They use your systems. They're part of your team. You give them an email address. They work every day for you. However, then when, the beginning of COVID kind of hit, we noticed that there was this huge dip and we went, wait a minute here. Everybody's still trying to save their business. However, the biggest problem is they don't have the same money that they had before. They can't figure out how to, give enough work to somebody internal. They need to just get things off their plate. So we put together, and we modeled it sort of after like an Upwork style, a Fiverr style type product, but we wanted to do it to where you didn't have to go hunt around and find somebody. We had a specialist team of people who'd done the exact thing you want done hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of times. And so we created our projects on demand service. So you could buy a block of hours and basically just assign as many tasks as you need. So it could be any range of things from an admin task to a social media, content calendar and, create content and, graphic design, video editing, CRM, marketing automation, custom builds, API, developer, website, all this stuff. So we have all of these different people who already worked in my business. They work for me. They work on my stuff. So everything that exists for any of my companies are built by the VAs. Well, now we were giving access to people who needed help. They could use my team. And so it became this really cool thing. They've already done the projects. They already know it. They know the platforms. And so it allows people to get things off your plate. So that's one form of outsourcing, is just saying, hey, I've got all this stuff that I keep saying I'm going to do. I've got this thing on my website, which you picked out on my personal brand website. This needs to get done. And I don't know how to do it. I don't have time to do it, or I don't want to do it. It's going to take me forever to go find the right person, test them out, do all that stuff. Instead, you just come and say, hey, Joe's team's already done this, 10,000 times. Let's just have them help us. And so you buy a block of hours, you assign the task, and then it's off to the races. You get it back. So that's one form. And then the other side is like, do you want to build a team? Do you actually have internal stuff that needs to get done in your business? Things that are consistent, things that are, on brand that you have to do within your business every single day. That I would say is a team member. And so then you would hire somebody direct who would work within your team. And then hopefully that builds and you build a bigger and bigger team. So that's kind of the difference between the two. I don't know if that clearly answered the question, but we can.
It's a great answer. And I think that perhaps some of the challenges that entrepreneurs might have is it's very different to have somebody in your office where you have a morning meeting every morning at 8:15 and you're pressing flesh every day and you're going to lunch together, than leading a virtual team. So how do you get alignment, stay productive, teach people quickly, and create loyalty and commitment to the cause in a virtual type environment?
The exact same way you do it in person. So virtually just means that we're doing this right here for a little bit. We do this in the morning as a morning meeting. Okay, great. So now we just did that. We do a check-in a little bit later. Somebody else on the team has direct relationship. I mean, we have clients who sit on Zoom and they have an open Zoom room with their VA for most of the day because they're collaborating and they're just going back and forth, or maybe it's Google Meet or whatever. But like so they're literally in the same room, because you sitting in this room and somebody else in an office down the hall, you either have to get up, walk down the hall and go make that connection, or you're probably sending chat messages, Slack or something else back and forth. You're literally in the same building. You can do the same thing in different countries. It doesn't matter. And so that is one of the things I say, treat it as if they're next to you. Treat them as if they're part of your overall team. So the companies that get the best results with outsourced teams treat their VAs like team members. Like there is no distinction. That means that when you do an event at the office, the Zoom is on and that person is invited. And you set up a screen so they can see, they can talk, it all exists. Those people have the greatest results. And then the people who I would say have less results, they just treat it like this is a transactional thing. That person's over there. They do some stuff for us, but this is our office. That's not the way to do it. If you want to build and you want to execute a real team, invite them in, have them be a part of it. We do this huge New Year's party every year, like a New Year's kickoff party. And we have hundreds and hundreds of VAs in the company who all get on the same. They do games and they do giveaways and raffles and all this crazy stuff. People do skits and they pre-record, video skits, and they do this like it is like a comedy show for like 2 or 3 hours. It is hysterical. And that's how you do it. You're still building the exact same culture.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, people just want to be seen and appreciated. And you can do that in person, and you can do that on Zoom, and you can do that virtually.
100%. And I'll add one other thing is like, don't be afraid to, when somebody does something effective, there's a couple ways to, I would say compensate them for that. Show appreciation. You can do it financially, which is massively, most people love bonuses. And the cool thing is we outsource to the Philippines, right? So your bonus, you kick over $100, you blew their mind.
Yeah.
You blew their mind, right? Now, the other thing too is you go, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you the Friday off so you have a longer weekend. That sometimes is all they need. It lets them recharge. They spend more time with their family. And so little things that people forget about because they're like, oh, it's a virtual assistant. It's over there. And it's like, no, they're still the same. Focus on those things. And we've got a guy on a client of ours, Brad, and I want to say he has a team of like 10 or 12 or something. He's got a serious team. I've never seen anybody send in more bonuses for VAs. Like it's just constant. And he's like, hey, let's do pay raise over here. Do this. Hey, we're giving a bonus here. We're doing this. Day off over here. Half day off over here. They're going to come in late. And it's just constant. And his VAs, they would go to the end of the earth for him. And that's what you want. But he treats them as such.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're seen, heard, appreciated, and they're in for the cause because he has treated them with that mutual
Absolutely.
respect.
Yeah.
So what happens when you have entrepreneurs that are plugging into your virtual team and they have this disease of micromanagement? They hand something off to somebody, but then 3 minutes later, they're checking to see if there was a period put at the end of the sentence, and there's complete micromanagement. Like, how do you create that safety, or maybe even teach those entrepreneurs how to be better leaders? Is that something that you guys ever get involved in?
We have to. Yeah, it happens a lot. So it starts on one side where we manage the VAs internally from our side. So there's constant check-in. They have team members who actually are looking at them. How's it going? What challenges are you having? How's the experience? Do you feel like you're being brought in as a team member? Do you feel like you're getting the culture? Is there anything you need to make that happen? So we do that with the VAs themselves. That's part of what we do on the management side of it. That feedback usually will tell us all we need to know over here, with the client side. Or if the client is the type of person who's just like, they're just constantly nitpicking, and it's like, okay, here's what you have to understand. If you did that to somebody sitting in your office, how would that experience be? It would be awful. Don't do it to the VAs. And I'm less coachy about it, and I want them to cut it. And so I like when we, as a team, we just go, hey, listen, that doesn't work. Assign the task, let them execute it, then review and go through the process. Because what's going to happen, the whole goal is to free your time.
Totally.
But if you're assigning something, then you're on top of it, you're still doing it. Why don't you just do it yourself?
You should have just done it yourself.
Yeah. And so there's that thing. So I get, kind of tough love with people faster than very soft coach approach. I'm like, no. You're outsourcing. You're getting things off your plate. You're trying to get more done. Stop focusing on it in the middle of it, let it get executed, do one revision, and then you're done. And that usually helps. And like, okay, all right, but yeah, so I try to get my team to even do that. Sometimes it's kind of tough. Filipinos don't necessarily want to be very,
Conflict
confrontational.
averse.
Yeah. Yeah. Very conflict averse. So sometimes that comes back and they're like, Joe, we've got somebody who's this, or they'll talk to Dakota or somebody else. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's great. I love it. I'm glad that you do that. And I think entrepreneurs need it, right? Especially those who haven't built teams before, don't have trust, or maybe they've tried and it's failed and they've got some,
Oh
some
yeah.
scarring or damage around that. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
glad that you step in there. Let's talk about the signs that an entrepreneur, let's say there's an entrepreneur listening to this and they're like, man, that sounds great. What are the signs that an entrepreneur is hitting that kind of burnout or ceiling level, and it's time to install some of these systems and virtual assistants?
I mean, they'll feel the burnout before anybody will see it. But some of the signs are flatline growth, right? When
Mm,
they slow down their growth,
yep.
quality declines as far as how they fulfill services or whatever it is for their client base. Those are some of the big signs there. And then when they have less interest in being a part of of the business, you're kind of running into that kind of burnout or just discontent. And I would say they're probably late and they should have built teams before. Because when you start to dislike your business, even build like now you don't even want to build a team. And like I've had a business where we did that and it's like, oh man, yeah, I really waited too long. So I would tell anybody at any phase of their business, no matter what you're doing, make the investment on the front end to be ready to build teams. If you don't have the cash to do it, which is one of the biggest reasons I love outsourcing, is it allows you to kind of leapfrog that lack of capital. People get started and they don't have any money. And it's like, well, I don't have enough money to hire somebody local because it's going to cost me, 7x what I could pay if I outsourced. We bridge that gap and let you get good staff to get you over that hurdle so that you have somebody on your team. But in the beginning, if you don't have the capital, just prepare. My philosophy and how we build businesses, every single time it's now like an executable step. I say, okay, great. We have an idea. Let's determine if anybody will give us money for it. And so I put together just something enough to iterate the idea and explain it to somebody. And then I go out and I will pitch it. And if people buy it, and we did this with a revenue optimization company we just launched, and we go out and we pitch this thing, it doesn't exist yet. It's like, okay, we got somebody who's giving us money. Now we got to actually build the thing. And so then we come back and we go, great. Well, now we have a client. So now what is the onboarding process? And we build it, we record it. Who's building it with me? The VAs. So now the onboarding process was built by the person who's going to do the onboarding. So now they're building it with me. Now we've got this onboarding process. Okay, great. What happens after that? Okay, well, now we have our fulfillment of services. Okay, now we have a fulfillment team. Okay, what do we do? In what order? And we build that with the VAs. They create the SOPs, they write them, they document everything. So the people who are actually doing it are the ones who are creating it side by side. And then my only focus after we have fulfillment, we have onboarding, fulfillment, and all that stuff done, we have a process, we have a system. And even if it was just me doing it and creating all that myself because I didn't have a team, still the same thing. Then we go back, we go, okay, great. Here's how we onboard. Here's how we fulfill services, keep people happy, reporting, whatever that's going to be. Now I need clients. So what do? Prospecting, sales, to onboarding, to fulfillment, and onward. And that's the process. Okay, great. What's the first person I need to put in place? Prospecting. So somebody prospects. They tee me up for sales. I close the sale. We have to onboard them. I'm not going to do it. Put somebody in place for that, fulfillment and so forth. And that's how we how we build a team linearly. Yeah.
There you go. We got it.
I'm like, but so it's so funny because I'm like, this isn't really that challenging. And maybe onboarding and fulfillment is the same one person if it's a simple process. But it's the idea of putting everything down step by step so that you just know, this happens, then that happens, then this happens. And if you document it, if you record yourself doing it, you can repeat the training, teach other people to do it. So that's my simple kind of no-brainer process in starting a business from zero.
Joe, that was brilliant. Like the idea of creating a conveyor belt, if you will, right? The widgets
Yes, there
coming
you
over
go.
here, everything's put together, and then the automobile goes out there. That was brilliant. But the idea of building that with the VA who's going to execute, or when things get too big, she's going to train the person to execute. And she was, or he was part of the original creation team. Like, that's brilliant. I had not thought of that before.
Yeah. And so if it's something that I have to teach somebody else, we do what we call play, pause, do. And I don't know, probably 15 years ago, I stole this from somebody else. So we create a video and it'll be me showing you how to do something. And I'll get a certain point down and I'll say, okay, great. Pause the video, go do what I just showed you, then come back and play. So play, pause, do. And then they come back, hit play. Okay, great. So you should have just done this. Great. Now we're going to go through this. We go through that. Okay, pause the video, go do what I said, come back and push play. And then we just do that over and over and over in this one video, and it executes whatever they need to go learn how to execute. And that's it. And they just did it. So it's like, okay, do you feel like you can do it on your own? Yes. Okay, great. Go do it on your own. If it's not right, you have to start the video from the beginning. And then they do, okay, great. Play. Have to do the stupid part again. Go like, and then they just, and it's that repetition. It's always there if they ever need it. And the videos are chunked into chapters. So they know, like, I keep breaking this one thing. Okay, go to that one part. How did he do it compared to me? That's the, and so that's it. And then now the team does it that way. And so that's how they teach each other. And then I'm out of the mix and I don't have to do it.
And by the way, everything you're describing is about 1,000,000 times easier with the advent of AI.
Oh God, it's so much easier.
So
much easier.
Yeah. Things that would have taken hours to type out and write out, standard operating procedures and onboarding procedures and all those things. Now minutes, maybe 20 minutes instead of 2 hours.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's just, and it's, the more tools you uncover in this AI game, the faster it goes. Now you can do what we talked about in the very beginning, which is get distracted, because you can all of a sudden go down a rabbit hole and 3 hours are gone and you've been playing AI and figuring stuff out. But for me, like where I am today, there's a bigger intent on making some of that stuff happen, because we can, like, we just found lovable.dev. I don't know if you're familiar with Lovable, right? Build websites and graphics. And so we launched an entire business by me typing into the AI. So I created a logo, which we had to have the logo because I was going to order some hats. So I was like, we're all in on this business. This is what we're going to do. But I had Chat GPT on one side and Grok, and creating what does the business do? How does it do it? What, like every step of that. And I had it created, and I just iterated it over and over. Then I said, okay, great. We need to build a website. Like, give me every single spec on that site outlined to a T. And so if it's the header, logos here, this dimension, here's the other links in it, here's the buttons in the header, next is the hero image, this graphic, this size, it should look like this, it should have this, every detail. And I went section by section of every page of the site, took that and went to another AI tool and said, I need a website built off of this spec. I want it to look like the style of this other site over here. So it did a clone of the original site, layered my stuff on top. I made a few tweaks for, I don't know, a couple hours maybe. And then we had a fully functional, content heavy, conversion ready website. Couple hours.
Imagine doing that on a Saturday. What's the name of the AI tool that you use to create the website?
Lovable.dev.
Oh, that's Lovable. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Lovable.dev. Great.
So the funny part was I created that, and then I'm like, I know, but now I need to, I need a little more to explain this. So I'm like, I'm going to do kind of like a webinar, but I'm going to do a 3-part video series. So then all I said is, hey, take that website and I need you to create me a slide deck that matches the branding of the website. Here's all of the content, and I need graphics. I need it designed so it looks, like presentation ready. Boom, minutes. presentation.
Brilliant.
I'm like, this is nuts. So then we launched the business, sales came in instantly, and I was like, we can do anything. Like, this is amazing. We can do anything.
It feels a little bit like you're the captain of the Starship Enterprise when you're deep in AI creating at that level, doesn't it?
It's so weird. I go back to my team and I said, so we got web developers, we got graphic designers, and I said, hey guys, you're in trouble.
Totally.
And I said, and not in a bad way, I said, but what that means is this is where you need to give your attention.
Yeah.
Now, there's always going to be design and development that is manual, hands-on. People want that. I'm like, but you guys better know these tools inside and out. And sure enough, what do? They just go out and execute and master. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm 3 times faster. I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, there we go. And so that's how we're gearing our team to be AI first with the human as an enhanced AI virtual assistant.
It's exactly the way
shift.
I see the model in the future of the
Yeah.
world. Same exact way. It's beautiful. Joe, I'm going to give you one more, what I think may be the most powerful question of our conversation. And then I'm going to turn it over to you for a closing thought to entrepreneurs that haven't quite put all these pieces together, or maybe have a fabulously running business, but they realize that hiring internally full-time isn't going to get them where they want to go. So be thinking about that closing thought. But here's the question I had for you. What's your framework or goalposts, if you will, for deciding what's worth your time as a founder and what should be delegated? Like, how do you decide what's in your genius zone, what should be stopped doing, and what should be delegated?
So not every entrepreneur is, well, I want to make this such an easy statement, but I realize that it would only come in my perspective, which is that if it's not revenue focused, I don't touch it. Period. Like, I don't care. Like, what I learned is that I am really, really bad at managing groups of people. I'm not good at keeping people motivated and fired up and checking in. I don't like to manage people. So I've got my small group of just a few. They do the rest. They do all of that. And it took me a very, very long time and a lot of struggle to get to the point where I actually was able to admit that and understand it and go, wait a minute. Like, it's okay that I suck at that. Like, it's really okay that I suck at that, because what's more valuable to the entire business, not just me, but to every person that gets paycheck from us, and then their families and their families' families, because in the Philippines, multi-generational living, right? So our impact on one paycheck goes, it could go 2 generations deep. And that's how much financial, impact we have. So when I think about every decision that I make, it's like the more important thing for me to do is to focus on growing the business, making sure that financially we're stable, we have growth, we have opportunity financially. That's the only thing that I can affect that will give the greatest impact downstream. Other people should be handling the people. Other people should be handling the clients. As sad as this is, after a client signs up and starts working with us, I really, really don't love client relationship success stuff. I don't. Somebody else has to step in there. I'm not good at it. And so, because I think where it comes from is I don't need anybody giving me customer success. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that guy calling me and checking in. I just don't. It's just not how I operate. I'm like, cool, I got your service. I'm using it. Leave me alone. If we got a problem, we'll let you know. But that's how I operate. Not everybody is that way. So I would say for me, I don't touch things that don't generate revenue or move profit and that's it. That's like my hard line.
I'll just give you one other framing that I really heard coming from you when you described that. Like, it occurred to me that the things that you're saying are in your lane are both high return on investment, meaning you're going to yield the most amount of financial results in exchange for your time, but they're also high return on energy. Just like hearing you describe what your lane is, you like just light up. So I'm imagining when you're engaging in those things, you get to the end of an hour doing that thing and you've got like more energy than you had the hour before because the activity just fully lights you up energetically.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a great observation because I think that when we do things that aren't in our genius zone, where we have to really try to be good at something we're not, like it is exhausting. It
Totally.
really is. And so yeah, I agree with you. I think sitting in those spaces where you are your best, you perform at your highest level, I think that is where you should spend all of your time and build teams around you to support it. I mean, that is one thing that I've got to say that I'm so grateful that my team has come to understand through lots of trial and error and pain and frustration is that they're like, keep Joe over there because
Right.
genuinely, when I step in the middle, and we had this happen 2 years ago, that it was just like a devastating blow. When I step in the middle and try to get involved, stuff breaks. Like I demolish things like a bull in a china shop. And they're just like, dude, get out. And I didn't realize this, but there's whispers behind, people having conversations with each other. And they're like, geez, like he's just messing everything we built. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to stay out of that.
Well, kudos to you for having the humility to realize it and go, okay, I'm gonna get back over into my lane. But I think that takeaway, if it's not high return on investment and it's not high return on energy, as an entrepreneur, you should be delegating it.
For
So
sure.
that's a great framework to end on here. Joe, let me hand it over to you for closing thoughts, words of inspiration or advice to the entrepreneurs listening.
I think, that we talked earlier about the mental block with delegating, outsourcing, doing all
Yeah.
that stuff. A lot of time, well, all the time, it's 100% fear-based. And so fear is this crippling emotion that we all have. And if you can just like give yourself a budget, whether it's a time budget, it's a financial budget, human capital budget, give yourself a budget to go fail and like get
Mm.
good at failing. One of the things, I kind of explained our process in starting a business. Like we start businesses and like, we'll do like, a micro business, get it to 100 grand a month and then sell it, build something super quick. And I love doing it because it teaches me so much because we have so many failures. But what ends up happening is because we fail so many times so fast, we get to the result before most people finish designing their logo.
Mm.
And so, when we go, like we just launched a company literally 2 weeks ago, we'll hit 100 grand a month by probably next week, like in reoccurring revenue. And again, I did this all literally chatting with AI to build everything. And so, now we have this model and it's like, okay, we can do this even faster than we used to. I had this success story where I built an agency and we went from 0 to 100 grand a month in 4 months. And I thought that was insane. And I got a ton of, press and love and people thought it was amazing. And now I'm like, we should be doing that in weeks. Like there's no reason we shouldn't do it that fast. But I have no fear in failing. And everybody's fear of failing is the reason they don't take risks. It's the reason they don't try new things. So I would say give yourself a budget or you could call it latitude to go fail. And then with your team, this is one of the easiest things to create massive success fast with a team. Give them the okay to go fail, go mess up. Now, here's the caveat. If they screw up and it affects income, revenue of the business, it affects client relationships, they fail once on that. We fix the problem. We know that it's fixed. If they do it again and we have another like that, that's not right. But giving them the latitude and realizing like nothing, the Tim Ferriss thing, nothing is as bad as you think it's going to be. Go fail, get back up, keep going, and you'll get results faster than everybody else because everybody's kind of tiptoeing around trying not to have that failure on their record. And I'm like, dude, I'd rather take so many shots that we learn the lessons quicker, faster. And it's like, they said no, but they said yes. What's the difference? Okay, go, like fix that, bridge that gap. Let's move. And so, yeah, I love talking about failing fast. And then, and the idea of failing forward. So that's how I would leave everybody.
That's the freedom first operating model. And that's how you scale. If you can't adopt that, then say goodbye to freedom and say goodbye to scaling.
That's a great close. Yes, that's it.
Joe, how do people find you, brother? Tell us a little bit about where they can find information about Level 9 Virtual and the rest of your teachings online.
Yeah, so I'm probably on most platforms. I don't do social media myself personally. So if something exists out there, it's the team put it up. I don't. But level number 9virtual.com, level9virtual.com, Joe at level9virtual.com, email if you need to. But yeah, there's a big book a call button in the top right corner. Meet with our team. We do what we call discovery calls. I know everybody considers that a sales call. It is. But the way that we do things a little different is our team is fully designed in no hard sales. So we are literally discovering the opportunity to work together. We turn away probably about half as many people as we take. And the reason is not the right fit, not the right time. They're stuck in that fear mode. They're not willing to let somebody else fail. Yeah. So we really, really want to pick and choose our clients so that our staff gets the best opportunity to build a career with that company. So I would say book a call. Like, let's make sure that it's a good fit. Discover what outsourcing really looks like, how it can benefit you if it's the right time, all the, what you're missing. We are internally building a ton of AI tools that will speed your process up. So things like we have an SOP builder we're rolling out. So you need to build an SOP. 90% of our clients come to us and they have no SOPs. And I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. And, how do you do this? They're like, we just kind of do it. And it's like, okay, let's create processes. So we put something together that our clients can use for free, and their VA can go in and use it for free. We've got another AI tool. It's an AI brain for your business. So you hire a VA, they're going to take every single piece of content they can get their hands on, train the AI on your business so that everything they do is even faster and more accurate and on brand and on target. And it just speeds up the process. And so we have a bunch of other stuff coming out too. But yeah, definitely check it out. level9virtual.com.
It's great, man. So much value. So much value. Joe, you've been a phenomenal guest. It's been great rapping with you. I hope you'll be back on the podcast in the future.
Absolutely. I'd love to. Thanks, man.